Okay, okay, we have to clean.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys need to clean a little.
Yeah. So
Thank
is
you.
this the isopropyl?
Oh, yes.
And they
Always
said don't
do
get
it.
it on the.
Okay. Here's a couple little, I always clean the instruments too, before and after, like whenever touching anything. And the only thing is you don't want to scrape that sucker. We have definitely accidentally scratched the crystal and stuff.
Oh. Do we
Do
change
we clean
these
this
between?
We kind of just keep, honestly, I try to be attentive not to get, if you get powder on it or anything on it, I usually clean and change them, but otherwise, as long as you're sort of cleaning regularly, or you can toss them every like 5 or 10 that you do.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
These guys, I think, I don't know. You can just, it's like prepping for syringe service and everything else. And it's easier to do before, so you don't have to deal with it. But if you have a friend with you,
well, we can add it. We can have making naloxone kits and prepping for our drug testing.
it's the same, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really only these guys, and Cole makes them pretty small. I'd like to make them a little bigger, but that's just me. Okay, so go for it.
Clean.
And you have fennel test strips?
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, and little cups, I reckon.
Give me some copies and
Is there okay one to start with?
Go.
Just pushing this up.
Should we go with the A, B, C?
Yeah, let's go in order.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
all right.
now.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Water.
All right.
Yep, you'll need water.
You'll see background waiting, and then once it's done, it'll run up. It'll have this background measurement. There's some small tricks. Like once it
Does this have to be?
This is kind of what Kenny. No.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You can actually
Yeah.
put it down or up. Because it's just. It's like weighing the weight. You know, just sort of saying like this weighs equivalent to this.
Oh yeah.
And then when you add what you want it, it'll subtract whatever that background is. But when Kenny was saying like he likes to look at and make sure the background was C, so because it is humidity plus altitude, so all those you want to just have a kind of level that looks good, and then the initial one will tell you whether there's some small guide, but more or less it's
So the background, I guess it's done because now it's got measure sample.
Yeah. No active task. Perfect. So now you can prepare the sample.
So this is 1, 5.
Okay. Yeah, and you only need like a little bit. And you're covering the little square. Okay.
So first we'll do that.
You can put a little bit in that, and you can put a little bit over the square. Okay. Actually, you can put that on top.
Oh.
And for watching, I like to do the thing, and then I usually just take what's on the backside of that, like put the little leftover on that in there, and then you don't have to worry because we rarely have samples. And you usually like run
this
into
is a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Like
Easy for you.
and then you dump the rest of it in there if you want. This is where if you're really good, you're like, okay, pat down and we'll run your fennel test strip. I'm not that coordinated.
You just push it down until it clicks.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the circle kind of covers in the red.
Oh, so
Do you
the
see the
light
red
does
dot?
I do.
You grab a new battery.
See how it,
Go ahead.
it has like a little pressure thing. I know. And actually, your basically just want it to stay. And if you want it a little bit further, you can tweak it.
Now you were messing with that so that it would go all the way down.
Yeah, it moves up and down, and then you can see the so the red circle's kind of in the middle, and that'll just secure it.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then you probably did it already kind of come up? No, not yet. This was what the thing.
Well, I didn't. Should I hit measure sample?
Yep. Now you can hit measure sample. Sometimes it'll read it already. I don't know if it's a setting.
Now, I have to put. Okay, I'm going to put Sample name is test 1, test A.
Perfect.
Sample form is powder, white powder.
Remember towards the end, he did end up pouring that green.
And then operator is there. Okay, there it goes.
Oh, so that was the initial measurement. So it hadn't actually scanned.
Yeah.
So that's what you were saying, like sometimes it just automatically, something came up and you're like, whoa. So when that something comes up, you can adjust and see whether you need to. It'll actually tell you if it's not, if it's, next time you do it, you can see if you may need to move the dot in a different place or put more on it or something if you get a poor signal.
Okay.
So I forget the minimal signal.
Now, why is all the signal gone away?
And now it's loading, so we started the sample.
So now it does, it's basically, there's multiple mirrors and it's kind of going, and it's shining light all around it. And it's going, okay, you know, it's done this scan. 40. What do you do now? What do we want to do now?
We want to line them up and see if it matches.
You may want to check your libraries and see, because if it is pulling from household hazards and things, you may be like, oh, I want to see it, or you suspect that this is. If it's a pill, you want to make sure your pharma library is out. If it's just powder, you may want to take your pharma libraries out because it's going to look for all these like weird polymers and things like that. So take what you know about the sample and what the person's told you to kind of help you determine which libraries. It'll hone your.
So should we do further something here?
Yeah, you can go up to your medical research. Perfect. And up here you can do select libraries.
Okay.
And then you can click on and off the libraries you have here. So it looks like you're going to need the BCCSU library too. Did you guys end up loading it on?
Oh, we found out how you can find the libraries, but we don't have the BCCSU library yet.
Okay. Yeah. We just load it down. It's just a text file, so you can load it down here.
I should be able to
This one?
try to download it and put it on the USB and that.
Or would it be well, because it's not a pharmaceutical garlic.
Supposedly.
Yeah. But didn't it already check those libraries? Since that's the libraries that are loaded?
Are they on? So this is a use or not use, is it? I can't tell if it's clicked on already.
It is, yep. There.
The polymer library I'd probably take off. You have Georgia State Crime Lab, so that's good. Yeah, it probably should be good.
So just take off the polymer library?
Yeah. Okay. If you want to keep, if you get weird stuff come back, you can always unload the pharma one. Is that like a save or I forget? Okay. And now, actually, you want to go up to your, back up to where you were before I see the evaluate and do spectrum search. And we'll just make sure your other settings, so your search parameters, and what we're going to do here is hold down here for first several components, and actually do you need to use spectrum correlation, which is that one? Yeah. Okay, this one we do. Pictorialization and do first derivative.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. And now hit search library. What did you find?
Now, what is it you did just then?
We told it to look for it, to assume it's a mixture, and to look at multiple components, and then it's looking to fit the spectrum to basically use calculus to determine whether it fits this wavelength directly, and you're telling it to look for a match using a different set of assumptions. And so some, like you're doing pharmaceutical chain management, you want to make sure if you only make inositol, you want to make sure it's only inositol, and so you want to make sure that that's there all the time and not like there's no garlic in your inositol. But So we told it to consider different things, and we gave it the right kind of library to match to. And then we told it the kind of criteria to match. So this tells you the hit quality, like how well it matches to the other things in the library. And given that it's very close on inositol and what's that vitamin B mixture thing, you can click as you click each one. So the red one is your scan, and the blue one is the hit quality. And if you wanted to, you probably saw how to move, how to make the match sort of fit and not.
So if you right click.
It's a vitamin D and an inositol. You hit heroin and inositol.
Right.
See if you can see any.
We also have to figure
See
out
if you
how
see
to
any heroin. And I was just
minimize
mentioning to like the team. For teams, they're looking at. They're not doing standard samples. They're looking at the other samples. But they have a heroin and mannitol sample in the other room if you want to take a look at the scan. But you can see. And we'll send it out. There's one collection of bacteria scans of like D to Z, and that's like here's heroin.
If you do a measure sample,
that's
that
usually like telltale peaks. If you're looking at mannitol, you're telltale things. So that was what we were saying. We'd be happy to like put something that we see regularly. We see that the one we looked at yesterday. Oh my gosh, right there. We looked at the xylazine sample. Xylazine is very hard.
Yeah, that's
but
is this A?
except when it's in really
Yeah,
high
it's-
concentrations. And we'll send the video around, but you guys should watch that because that like caffeine covers fentanyl. But you don't have a lot of caffeine.
I've never used
Usually it's sugar. But they just had one the other day in Boston, and they were like, "What?" You know,
Do you have that?
positive metal testers, they couldn't see it. And then when they saw the caffeine, they went and removed the caffeine.
Yeah,
and
we
you could see the
did,
fentanyl.
and we chose
These small little things, like as you start to go and you start to know what normal, what typical
So if
cuts
you-
there are in the community,
Do
and
you
you're
not
like,
get the
okay,
opioids?
this one and see if you can see.
Like this is all.
Mannitol has Batman like.
I've
Look
never.
at Batman.
I've never.
You know, you're like, you can go to that area, and that area
Like I said,
is around 1100. And sure enough, it's
But you could probably
very
also
clearly
make one
mannitol
by also
heroin.
increasing the duration.
You can once you I like to once you see a cut or an active cut, I remove those so you can do the spatial subtraction. And the other way that I was teaching yesterday, we watched the video, you can identify those things and then continue to find other.
It was there, we just clicked past it
other
in our
matches.
treatment.
So so that's then
Yeah.
looking and understanding kind of what they may be. It's very unusual. This cut of like heroin / inositol is not very much unless you get Georgia criminals. If you click on
Okay, well,
And then this, he said you can just keep going and it'll.
I know. You
I think he said like it'll
tell
do
you
that
the
thing where it-
provenance of the
and then it stops doing it. It gets kind of loose.
street mixture drug. And this is coming
I'm
from
glad that I've never looked at it. It's an honor that you're putting
Oh, wow.
your library. So it's doing
It's actually from the-
research. Ours is like.
pharmaceuticals lab, right? That's unusual. You know, they tell you the Georgia State Crime Lab, the CCSU, you can kind of see some
One thing that we didn't see is like how to select
swing
between
drugs
the libraries and
free
stuff like that.
library that's procured and shared around the world. And then like Tic Tac library you guys bought is $3,000 library, so we use proprietary libraries. They have updates every year. But like when last year we started seeing a lot of xylazine, it's very sedative.
This one auto.
Connecticut was seeing it, Philly seeing it, and we were
So this one auto.
starting to see it in Lynn. Why?
But
You know,
let's see.
what's going on here? And probably because we had very weak fentanyl, and they were putting more sedative in the drug supply. But we wanted to know what was there because it's also prolonged healing, and so for injections, it's great to know that it's there. Because more wound care to go out and more care in that regard. But or possible implications. But some of the libraries didn't actually have xylazine in it, so the only way we were learning that xylazine was in the drug supplies because we sent it out to. You can really see here, like there are a bunch of your scan was the red one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So see the one that you just added on the bright blue one.
Yeah.
It is really not a good match.
Okay.
And you can move, like we were doing before, you can move it up to see like what does it match to.
Yeah.
But you have some huge peaks, so it's like okay, that one's definitely not it.
Okay.
But your inositol link above was, the computer kind of did it for you.
So the computer is saying the one that's the closest
The top
is the
one,
vitamin.
vitamin D or vitamin B mixture. You could look to see what the vitamin B mixture with what it actually is. And the inositol hits twice at 590 and 530, so it's pretty good. And then the next mixture, B heroin inositol. Knowing what you know about the drug supply, assuming this came in from someone, they may be secret shopping you, and they might be actually just bringing you your cut. So inositol might be a normal thing you actually would see, but there still may be fentanyl in here, right? So, so you can check to see the match and match the peaks. It's a pretty good match to the peaks actually.
Yeah, it is.
And so you want to move it up and down and sort of see the match. And if it's a good match, you'd probably call it inositol and you'd probably call it a day. But you may think there's fentanyl because everything has fentanyl.
But the heroin, and then when heroin, what is heroin inositol?
This is built into one of the mixtures in the libraries. It's hard to, when you have a library a library entry that is a mixture, it's hard to know how much heroin and how much inositol, and they're like, it's a mixture. So because of that, it's probably better to look at inositol or heroin or both.
Okay.
You could assume that it's a mixture, but the scan of a mixture, if they had put it in at 10% this and 20% this and 10% this and 5% this and 10%, then I would feel more comfortable.
Right.
But it's not, we don't know for sure for that one mixture scan.
Well, so the heroin inositol, the matches could very well be the inositol and not the heroin.
That's right. And if it had been, that's exactly. And because the rest of your list didn't include heroin,
right.
It's kind of
suspect. Okay.
It's probably more than the inositol. That's great deduction. And I think here, you could look to
at that.
the distinct
That's like a super match.
peaks. That's beautiful. This doesn't ever happen. So
that never happens.
Offer if you would like to test something.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
I have a baggie.
Cool.
And so we tested it and they tested it too. So there's apparently enough. So I think that everyone can. We've been able to test from here on here.
Okay.
Yay! Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I feel like that way then you can mess around. It was cool because some of it was really, obvious.
Okay. And actually, this is the stamp that's in the field right now. We're getting it. We have 2 game of deaths already back from Greenfield. So I know, and it is totally different. So I'm curious to see what it is.
Okay.
So the last thing would be to test your fentanyl test strip.
Okay.
Which you could look on there. I mean, you could look for fentanyl at that 1610 area. And if you see the that might be an indicator. I don't know if you want to take a quick look. If you see anything, we're around 710 and 1650, 1680.
16.
So if you
Right click, okay. Yeah.
oh, try 2 fingers. Oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. So click with 2 fingers and then zoom.
Okay.
Zoom in.
Yeah.
And we're going to zoom around 16. I think there's a more precise, Tracy, is there a more precise way to just look at it?
But there's nothing
Oh,
there.
yeah,
So,
there is. You can go to that spectral search and you can tell it the parameters that you want it to look in. You open up to the evaluate section and then spectrum search. And then here you can say use the limits. And so we were looking you can go 1700 to 1500 or something like that if you wanted to. And then it'll give you, and you can also drag and drop around if you want. That way exactly.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and And you can almost already see that you don't
Yeah,
have
there's
the
nothing there.
ammunition, but for good measure.
No hits found. So what does that mean?
That
It
means
didn't
there's
see
nothing.
anything.
There's no wavelength to match. There's nothing.
Oh, so that's
There's no
a
spectrum. So you're like, okay, done.
now.
So
with
you
their-
could waste a fentanyl test strip at this point, or you could probably move on and be like, okay, we're done. And we put a little stuff in here, so they probably toss it. But that's me. But you could also test it. But I think you're in good shape. So I'll let you organize stuff, clean, wipe, and then what do you want to do for the sample? What happens next?
Oh,
For
the Terra bag. Well, it's garlic, so we don't really need to use the Terra bag for
You
it.
don't have to. You don't have to. But for your sample, it does give you an opportunity so you can print the report, but you can hit the next sample.
Okay.
Keep wanting to touch the screen.
Next sample.
And you're going to clean everything, and then you're going to hit measure background.
Okay.
And you're going to do
Is there
exactly
a
the same
proper
thing.
way to-
Chem wipe may
Okay.
get you better the next thing.
See, why did you get rid of that red stuff?
Yeah, it's just very extreme
Okay.
noise. And because
And then
the FDR is not good at measuring below
configured.
515,
And I want
but
to
they
configure this.
Oh, okay.